Greetings, comrades, and welcome to the Rad Gaming Podcast. I'm Pescador.
And I'm Jemshi. And in this episode of the podcast, we're going to be going over to Pescador's first impression with the Anthem demo that was released this weekend.
And also, we're going to dive into some comments of everyone's overall response of the game.
Yeah, it's going to be a real fun one, so let's get into it. So Pescador, how was your experience with Anthem this weekend?
Experience wasn't good, but I did enjoy the game actually. So, I liked the game because it was it felt like Iron Man mixed with the movie Avatar, and it also had some aspects of Destiny. But I did like that about it, but also I didn't like that.
What did you not like about it? Why was that a downside?
Well, to be honest, Anthem kind of, the feel of it in general, it's new, it's fresh because they have, little mechs, but I feel like it had a lot of aspects of like Titanfall, which I don't know if you've ever played Titanfall, but
I've seen
giant
gameplay.
Fighting robots, yeah. So giant fighting robots, machine guns, rockets, that kind of stuff. And then also, I did notice that there were some aspects of Destiny in it, which I did enjoy the first Destiny, but I did not enjoy the grinding of Destiny. So going through missions to get better gear, and then when you did raids, you did grind to get better gear for raids to do the better raids. I didn't enjoy that aspect of Destiny, and I feel like it's going to be the exact same game. I can't be 100% sure, but from what I got from the demo, that's kind of what it was. So.
Okay. But you said that you enjoyed playing it, though, right? So that it was fun to play, but I guess in the long term, kind of just as a weekend game, it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, the demo itself was a little buggy. I know that you had to have seen some of the people reporting about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of issues with loading. So when we were playing the game, my friend and I kind of went through a stronghold, and we were too low of a level. So the demo allows you to go from level 10 to 15.
So you start at level 10?
Yeah, you start at level 10, you work your way to 15 to the very end, and that's the highest you can go. You can get different gear throughout the entire thing. So, main parts, you get loot throughout the game. So kind of lets you determine where you can be as far as fighting enemies. So we were level 14, and I had like level 13 gear. So we decided, since we've done so many missions, that we wanted to do a stronghold to see what it was like. We ended up doing the stronghold, and the stronghold's a very, very long process. There's like a big battles every so often, and we had it on the hard difficulty, so it was extremely tough for us as level 14 with 13 gear.
Did you start off on the hard difficulty?
Yeah. Oh, no. We started off on medium just to see how he felt about the game in general, and then we realized it was pretty simple. Us playing together, it made it so much easier. So it wasn't very difficult at first, so we wanted to make it a little bit more difficult since we had each other,
Gotcha. Okay.
So we bumped it up to hard, and then we played some of the missions. We breezed through those. So we just assume that we can breeze through the stronghold. So we kind of went through that entire thing, and we died a lot because we didn't have other teammates. And
so you can get other teammates besides just the people that you party up with?
Yeah, so me and my friend teamed up, and we actually ended up getting 2 more teammates throughout a stronghold, but not the first time we went through a stronghold. So the first time we went through a stronghold, we had just him and I, and we couldn't even get past the first section because there's so many things, like so many creatures that are high level that were just destroying us. We ended up freezing, which is a funny story after we died, and that put us back to square one. We had to get out of the game, go back into the game. We ended up playing Stronghold again, and we ended up getting 2 other teammates, and they were low level too. So us going into the Stronghold, we went through the first 2 sections of the game pretty well, but when we got to the boss fight, that's when it really sucks. So the entire process, you get a bunch of loot. Going through section to section or area to area, whatever you want to call it, they drop loot, and you get uncommon, rare, very rare items.
Yeah, sounds kind of like what is it, Borderlands? I think there's some kind of similar.
It's kind of like that, yeah. So it's a loot-based system. So you get loot drops constantly throughout the game. So you're building up all this experience, building up all this loot, and we got to the last part. So it's the boss fight. We got to the last part, which is the boss fight, and we ended up actually wiping, which really sucked.
What does that mean? Wiping?
So means we all of us died. Every single one of us died right in the middle of the fight.
No.
So we started all over again. No, yeah, it sucked. So when we were loading back into the game, you have to go through the loading process, and that's where everyone had those issues. So when the game went back to loading screen, we got to about this much left of the loading bar, and it
1% left.
I would say about 5%, but yeah. So we had barely any left to go, and it froze, and it was so frustrating because I had to exit out of the game. Well, I waited for 10 minutes because I didn't want to lose all my experience and loot that I picked up.
Right, because as soon as you exit out of the game, you lose everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was hoping that maybe they had something in play that you'd keep your experience at least. But no, they didn't keep anything. So I went back from the very beginning, and we had to go back into the stronghold. Eventually, we ended up beating it, and it got loot. But I've actually had that happen not once, but I think I'm almost positive it was at least 3 times. So
yikes.
To the very end, it was pretty awful.
And there's no save or checkpoints along the stronghold,
No. So if something happens, it freezes. So you have to start from the very beginning, and getting out of you had to get out of the game completely. I had to shut it down. So on my Xbox, you had to go out and close the game, and then get back into the game. And what we would do to kind of cheat a little bit, if you would, we would actually have my friend stay in the loading screen. Locked in the loading screen. I would exit out of the game and get back in and join his game because he was still technically in a game. So I would join and go through that way, but still it didn't save where we were at. It would pick us back to that mission and that difficulty, but not so much, that specific part. So, it kind of helped, but not really. It just was such a painful process the entire time. Because every single time you load out of the game, there's a cutscene in the very beginning that you basically you look around and you look at your hands, and then you kind of stand up and walk out the door to see your javelin. So I kept on seeing that over and over and over. And
I'm sure that just became kind of aggravating, more of just a sign of frustration.
You look up at this guy and he's smiling. I swear that's EA telling me that they think it's hilarious that I have to go through this stupid screen 60 billion times. So no, the whole process was very frustrating, but the game itself was really neat. So
yeah, what about the javelin? You said you'd walk out to your javelin.
Oh yeah, so the javelin in general is the robot or mechanical or exoskeleton suit that you wear,
the Iron Man suit that you were telling me about. Okay,
yes. So there's 4 different classes that you can be. So once you go through and be, I can't remember if it's the first or second mission. There's, I'm pretty sure it's the first. I don't remember. Maybe it's a level. I can't remember when it was unlocked because I was trying to take in as much of the game as possible. But there's 4 different types of javelins that you can be, or suits that you can be, I guess. So in that whole thing, you start off as a ranger, and the ranger is basically a soldier. It kind of goes through the motions, the rockets. And you can use special abilities like rockets and grenades. I ended up picking the Colossus, which is a tank character. Basically, it can do things like it puts a giant shield in front of itself, so people shoot at it. And one of its abilities is to pull aggro from other creatures, so it focused on the tank, and everybody else can kill whatever creature.
Is it in a size comparison? Is it larger than the other javelin suits?
Yes, it's a little slower too. It's a little bit bigger, a little taller, and a little bulkier. So it said it was slower, but I didn't really feel like that was the case. I feel like I ran around pretty good for being a big dude.
Well, I guess if all the enemies are coming to you, you don't have to chase after anybody to attack them. Really.
No, that's the fun part. I really enjoyed the Colossus. I didn't get it at first because the way it's set up, the Ranger has a shield that you don't have to put up. It's like a bubble shield almost, in a sense.
Kind of like a force field or something?
Yeah, force field kind of thing, which was kind of neat. So, if things shot at you, you lose your shield, and then once your shield's gone, you keep getting shot, you lose your health. See, the Colossus was set up differently in the fact that your physical shield that you put in front of you is your shield. So like if you don't have your shield up, it's just straight health. So like if like people are shooting at you and they start hitting you without you putting your shield up, you're losing just health. You don't have another shield to protect you unless you put your shield down. So it was a different feeling for him, and it was kind of neat, but it was more or less the fact that I enjoy being like true important role. I'm not saying everything else is not important, but DPS is kind of boring, like, you know, in my opinion. Just because, like, you know, it's just one-dimensional as a tank. You have to really pay attention to, like, who's getting hit, who's getting hurt. How can I...
It's all about positioning, too. Like, you can't just, you know, run into the battle. You have to know when to run in, when to move forward.
Exactly, and who to pull and stuff. I mean, this one wasn't so tactful. I played WoW, and being a tank in there, you have to know who to pull at what point in time, when not to pull, when to pay attention to what, you know, like things like that. There's certain nuances to being a tank, but I didn't really get that feel exactly in this game. It was more like a lot of people were coming and I had to aggro everyone so no one else died because, like I mentioned, there was 4 other characters. I got through 2 of them. The other one is Storm, which is like a magic flinging character. It kind of puts energy out there and it does a lot of damage, but it's very squishy. So like it has barely any shield, barely any health, and it gets killed pretty easily. So that's what the tank is really useful for, is pulling everything away from that so they can, like the Storm Javelin suit can actually focus on the enemies that are attacking the tank.
And then, so when you die, is that like it? Can you get revived at any point?
Or yes, you can. You go down, actually, and your teammates can revive you. Unless your whole entire team wipes, then that's...
Right,
like
so no one can revive someone else.
Yes. So, and then the last... javelin is the interceptor, which is technically like a rogue, if you will.
Sounds kind of like a sniper or something like that.
It kind of is,
just by the name.
You can pick whatever gun you want. It doesn't really go to your class or your strengths or weaknesses. There are things that you can equip to your character that really helps you out. So the interceptor is actually more of a melee kind of person, and it's really close range. So you can still use guns and things like that, but it's the fact that it's just still get into the battle and in a fight. So it dies a lot too. I've noticed that. I've had a few interceptors in when I was fighting in a stronghold, and they kind of went down quite a bit because they do have to be up close and personal. And their whole goal is to get in there and get out really quick, you know, hit and strike and leave. But a lot of them just kind of strike and stay, and then they end up dying. For the most part, they go down. But no, other than that, the missions were pretty basic. I mean, you know, kind of stand here, wait till the signal fills up kind of thing, or turn these dials until they you unlock this door kind of thing. But that was fun. I mean, it was basic. And then the last little part that I really, really did enjoy, though, was the environment. So I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Avatar. Everyone's basically
right. I've seen your gameplay where it's just kind of like this like machine, like, I don't know, mixed with like nature kind of atmosphere. It's kind of what I saw.
Yeah, no, it was super neat because what it is if you're out into the environment, you can fly around. It's really fun. You can run at really fast speeds, and your suit overheats. So it's really neat the fact that you can interact with the environment. So when your suit overheats from flying, if you go into water, it cools your suit instantly. For the most part, I mean, it helps. If you're flying really close to the water, which I'm really terrible at, and I fly into the water every single time, but if you fly close to the water, it stops the progression of your suit overheating. And it's kind of neat when you do fly, and all of a sudden your suit overheats, you kind of just drop like a rock. So... I've had that happen as a Colossus trying to get to the battle, and they're like, "Where are you at, man? I need help." And I'm like flying into battle, and because I'm so big, it takes me a lot longer, and like my juice it gets overheated really quickly because it's a big suit to carry. So I'll be flying, and all of a sudden, like there's a giant lip, like, you know, you can't like fly. You have to fly up to this thing, and I like fly up most of the way, and then just miss and hit the side of the like rock face and fall straight to the ground. But no, it was the environment's beautiful. I really enjoyed the Avatar feel to it because they have creatures just running around that you can actually attack and kill. It was pretty neat. But honestly, my overall opinion of the game is just it's very basic. Like, it's been done before. This incorporated a lot of different aspects from other games. Like I said, Titanfall, I felt like that. I felt like part of Destiny was in there. So, I don't know. It's,
kind of same game, new scenery, or...
Yeah, I mean, it didn't bring anything new to the table. But then again, Call of Duty doesn't bring anything new to the table when they make out a new Call of Duty. So I'm saying, like, I don't know. It depends. If that's something you're interested in, like, if you like Titanfall, if you like Destiny, this is definitely a game to get. But...
I see. So it's not anything new. It's not...
Yeah.
But if those are the kind of games that you like, then, this is what you'll be getting.
Because I loved Destiny when it first came out. I loved the first one. And I loved Titanfall when it first came out. But after playing the heck out of Titanfall, after playing the heck out of, Destiny, any game that kind of mirrors that kind of same play style, I kind of just shy away from anymore. I just overdid it. And then just bringing it back in this light. I mean, the story was pretty, the acting was a little dry. I didn't really care for the acting, but, overall, it wasn't a bad game. Would I buy it? I wouldn't personally buy it, just because I'm not interested in that. I mean, it was fun, but I don't see the replay value in it. I mean, I'm sure there is for some people, which is not for me.
And I feel that you're kind of downplaying the issues that you were having. Just from what I've seen online, there's just been a lot of people really angry about what they've been seeing.
You're
and dealing
right.
with.
We can seriously dive in to some comments I actually found online. So. You better buckle up, man, because it's some pretty good stuff. See if I can find what we got over here, man. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I know that the loading screen was one of the main complaints that I saw. Just in the fact that, like you said, also just the fact that, you've already lost everything. But the fact that you've got to sit and wait 10 minutes to finally accept that.
They kick you when you're down. So do you want me to kind of narrate the story as if I were the individual and extremely pissed off, or do you want me to read them normally? Is the question I want to ask for you.
Whichever you feel would portray their comment the best.
I'll start off with like a kind of normal kind of comments, and then we'll go into the really like holy shit comments. You know what I'm saying? So, all right.
Yeah.
So first one's from Adam S. And he says, "Congratulations, EA. Anthem is the best game I never played." It's kind of basic. Okay.
Right. Loading screen.
A little better. Okay. So, Giovanni R says, "Oh great! I wake up, the server's being full. Great job, EA. You fail yet again." So obviously these guys aren't pissed, but they're a little annoyed.
They feel kind of like this is EA. This is EA we're talking about. Like one of the maybe the biggest game company out there releasing a game like this.
Okay, so we're gonna get into the little. It's still kind of mellow here, but Zach A says, "If I could actually get into free mode instead of the loading screen, looping for 5 minutes 3 times in a row, that'd be great." So it kind of gives you an idea of what most people experience. So we're gonna just buckle up because we're just gonna get a little worse.
Oh boy.
All right, Chaos K says, "If the demo is anything like the real game, it should be a great loading screen simulator. Thanks for the aggravation." So as you can see, it's kind of building.
It makes me wonder if they're just hiding the lack of gameplay behind these loading screens. Like there really isn't much there.
You might be right. You might be right. So David D says, "Server's full. Game crashes." He said came, not game. I was going to say game, but I kind of corrected myself. Game crashes at loading screen. At least Fallout 76 loaded.
Oh, man.
So this is frustration.
They're starting to get some real roast in there.
Oh, you wait. It gets better. So Chris Jones, he's my boy. Ready? Anthem. In all caps. Anthem. Pre-order now and get access to absolutely fuck all. So his aggravation is what's skyrocketing. He is absolutely pissed. Anywho, we're gonna go to JK here. "I've seen this main screen so many times that I made a story to it." Okay. And he spelled 2 with a T-O-O. Anyway, the 2 kids want their dad to come home who's working on a javelin. The guy still sitting with the ladies is trying to negotiate a threesome, and it appears to be not to be going well. Excuse me. Please load past the main screen. So that's pretty creative. This guy could be an EA writer, in my opinion. Got some pretty good points here. I like it. I like his imagination. So Francisco S. He says, "Good job, man." And this has a lot of grammatical errors, so bear with me, okay?
Yeah, do your best.
Good job, man. Holy shit. So Lang, which he's tried to say long, Lang, waiting for nothings. Servers are busy. I can't play with my demo. That's what they call it these days.
Can't play my demo. Can't play with
his demo.
With your demo. I like Lang. That's like a combination of like long wait time and lag.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a good one. Freaking Lang, man. Anyway, good job, man. Great job! And he has a whole bunch of like extremely mad faces at the end with the little sensor over the face. You know, he's getting really pissed. All right. So, Daniel L. He says, endless loading screen when you come in lags. Play is impossible. All right, and then, dude, this one gets you. All right, Scott V says, game freezes every time on load screen. This game is a lame dog that should be put down.
Oh.
That is super dark. Jesus Christ, that guy needs help.
Damn.
He got super upset with that one.
Man, first they were just mad at the game. Now that it's like...
No, he went to...
They won't have retaliation. I mean, you gotta think that they've paid money for this. Like, this is something that they're getting after paying money for access. Like, either they bought the pre-order or...
But to go to... From being, like, fine, like all those people in the beginning, like, loading screen, it didn't load, this sucks. To this guy being like, it's a lame dog and should be taken out back and shot, that's a little...
Yikes.
Yeah, a little too much. But we're going to go with the last one with Joel P. He goes, "What the fuck?" That's how he starts it off. He starts it off.
Really that's strong. Not it? That's not all?
Yes. "We can put a man on the moon, do surgery using nothing but cameras, CGI a big green Hulk, put Cortana on my Xbox." So... literally have access to the world at our fingertips and predict the weather 10 days in advance, which I disagree with, but we'll go with that. We're fine with that. But in all caps, he says, "But you all can't predict how many people are going to play this game or have enough servers ready. What the fuck?"
Oh my God.
He's pretty pissed.
But he has a good point, though, you have to say.
I mean... You think they get their shit together after doing this for so long? I mean, how long?
Like I said, like EA is one of the biggest game companies out there. Like this is like something like if it was from like an indie developer, like a company kind of just starting out, one of their biggest, big server games. Yeah, you can see, what do you expect that? It's a demo. But from EA, like these aren't the issues that they're trying to fix with the demo. Like I know EA, they've put out these kind of games are things that like I don't know, like they fix like minor bugs when they're putting out demo. They're not fixing major bugs. Those are the things that are caught in production, Yeah.
No, that's the thing. I think that they don't test it to their full capabilities. That is a downfall of EA. I mean, but look at Fallout 76. I mean, that guy had a really good point in one of those comments. At least Fallout 76 loaded. I mean, there's a ton of issues off the bat from Fallout 76. But, I mean, I like how EA goes, sorry, what are you going to do? And everyone just accepts it. Like, everyone's just like, yeah, that's EA.
Right, like they introduced more, pay to play games, more microtransactions, and everyone's just kind of like, they complain, but they still play.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm one of those people, I'm like, stupid EA, and then I have Battlefield 5, so, I mean... what are you going to do? I mean, I really enjoy the game. EA is as a big entity, and they're not going anywhere. It's the way I look at it. So,
right. I guess they can kind of just do what they want, and people just
get away with it too.
Right, they can get away with it, but hopefully that kind of changes soon with new game companies coming up. Now that it seems like it's a lot more commonplace, people are getting investors. Is like kind of the thing that I've been seeing is that people are starting to realize that gaming is actually one of the bigger industries out there. And, they can get investors that will help them fund the next big game. And you're seeing a lot more games kind of come out. So maybe they'll start having a lot more competitors. I know that's happened kind of with Blizzard, is that they haven't really been like releasing that much with, WoW. And they kind of just like let that sit, people start releasing new games. And
see, it's funny because if we go back to Anthem for a moment, I really think that I can't really see any direction in which they can go that's going to surprise me with this game, is why I kind of don't want to get it. So what I'm saying is, for a fact they're going to introduce new abilities, new guns, new class for the Javelin. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that's a given. They're going to come out with new DLC, new bad guys. But, like, I don't... Honestly, they can't throw a curveball to me that I'm not... I mean, they could.
So do you think this game is more to capitalize on the market, like share, the audience of people that play like Titanfall and, like you say, Destiny, like the people that play those games, maybe they're just trying to...
Because that's an interesting theory.
Bring in that crowd, just people that play those games.
That Titanfall hasn't been around for a while. Like, it's been... I can understand of them riding that wave if Destiny and Titanfall came out at the same time and they both did really good with those games in general. They could be capitalizing off of that. I don't know if they're capitalizing on...
Right, because you said they haven't released in a while, so maybe they're trying to release this game as kind of like, hey, this is the, people that played Titanfall, here's your next game.
And it's the thing. I mean, it's an interesting concept. The art is technically there. I don't get it. I think that they need to make it more open. In my opinion, some of the maps, I feel like I was a little constricted in the areas in which I played. Maybe because just because it's the demo. But what I'm saying is that every single mission that I was on or area, you're like in a valley basically, and there's mountains all over you, like all over the place. So
you felt like it was kind of the same no matter where you went and what you did.
Yeah, I mean the environment's changed. I mean, there's like a rocky desert-ish kind of feel to kind of like lush forest kind of feel, but with waterfalls and things like that. But for the most part, I mean, I felt like the game was very constricting. I wanted to be more open, like, you know what I'm saying? I just kind of, but I know they'll do like a free mode, which is fine, but I mean, I need to feel more free. I need to have more room to roam. I want to open those boosters up, man, because you think about it, your Javelin's gonna have upgrades to the boosters and stuff like that over time, I'm sure. Oh, actually, I did an ability that did that, but I mean, you're gonna get really good stuff for your character as you go down the road. So I mean, they're gonna do something about it. But what I'm saying is, I don't see them throwing any curveballs that's gonna change the way I view about this game. I mean, the DLC is gonna be an interesting one, but maps, environments.
But you feel it's all kind of predictable. Even what the DLC will be, you kind of already know.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't have it like... So, Spyro, in general, say, they remade Spyro or Resident Evil. It doesn't have that nostalgic feel. So, like, I can care less if they come out with new environments or new enemies or something like that. So, the replay value, like I said, for me, isn't there. I mean, the only reason why I'd ever buy it is if... I'd say a good buddy that really wanted me to play asked me to buy it, and I'd let it drop in price and buy it probably or something like that. But
I see. Yeah, if it's only on sale or...
Yeah, I just... Like I said, I don't see anything coming out of the woodwork and scare the crap out of me kind of thing. Like, I'm like, oh, man, I didn't see that come kind of thing, So...
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I think that's going to be it for this podcast.
And thanks for listening to this episode of the Rad Gaming Podcast.
And make sure you subscribe for more video podcasts on our YouTube at youtube.com/radgamingpodcast.
You can also find us on iTunes and anywhere else you listen to podcasts.
And as always, stay rad, comrades.